government tripled or even quadrupled. The unification for foreign exchange. I mean, we all see how stable the naira is now to the dollar. It's still a bit relatively high, but I think it's not as high as 2000, where it was battling some time ago. It's now steady and stable around 1,300 and some fraction to about 1,400. That's how much it goes now. But for some while now, it's been within 1,344, 45, 46 naira, and it's been steady on that pace. Is that a sin, or what else? What else would we look at? The new executive order. A lot of people are excited about it. Some people aren't too excited, but many are because of the monies that will be recouped and saved and distributed to states and local governments. Is that a sin? So the question is, what exactly was the president referring to when he said, "If I have sinned, forgive me"? And do you think the president has sinned? If he has, will you forgive him or do you forgive him? 0817 923 0007, 0817 923 0002, and 0817 923 0003 are the numbers you can call this morning. Also, remember, you can use the WhatsApp number 0809 030 6416. 0809 6416. Remember the student loan. In fact, at that time, I spoke to some people, and the problem we had was that we didn't have a lot of young people from these parts of the country taking advantage of that student loan thing. They didn't want to do the Nigeria Education Loan Fund. The Student Loan Act was there. Many people, and I'm sure till this day, there are a lot of people from the south, southwest that are not southeast, that are not taking advantage of it or trying to, benefit from it. We had more people from the north central, northeast, northwest, especially north central, keying into these programs and taking advantage of it. So where is or what is the sin? And would you forgive the president if at all any of this to you is a sin? Clement from Port Harcourt, to start with you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very good story for us to hear. The president is showing us remorse statement. But be as it may, it's not encouraging us. That statement that he is sorry does not encourage us. Neither put food on our table or heal the wound we have incurred on us or within our heart. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, he is sorry. We have had. What next? You are sorry. What next? That is the question.
But do you think that the president has anything to be sorry about or sorry for?
That is what he may think. That is why I say remorseful statement. He might feel that he has offended his people, as the case may be. But there is nothing to show. So that is why I ask, after saying the sorry, what next? That is the truth.
Okay.
Everything still remains the same. When they say there are changes in price of commodities, it just remains within rice, beans, and garri. Every other thing still remains the same. So where is the change?
But rice, beans, and garri was expensive down. Before, so
it's coming down. Transportation is still high. When you don't have price control, you don't have quality control in a country like Nigeria. What is working? Nothing is working. But we have a president. That is the truth.
All right. Leighton Barry.
Everything, but he cannot command anything.
All right. Leighton Barry from Bori. Good morning.
Good morning, Ifiemi Andrew.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, for me, with what I understand from the statement of Mr. President, I think he is very concerned. It shows that he is very concerned about the situation in Nigeria. And that saying that they should forgive him does not mean he has sinned to the extent that the sin needs to be forgiven. But he's emphasizing towards the people And with the way he took up this administration, and with what he was expecting that he should have done by now, with what he has done already. Because if you look at the commodities, comparing to the way it was before, it's not the same. Definitely, there is a big advantage from the way it was before. And he still expects that before now, he should have done something more than that level. Even if we are the people killing ourselves, why should I say so? If you look at the price of rice and beans that have gone down, there are other commodities that are still high. Those ones are we who are the sellers of those goods that are still pinking on this same price that has been before. When everything has gone down, some people are still holding that they still want to do that because what they have, they are not, concerned about the administration or the country because they feel that it is APC, it's not a government that favors them. They still intentionally did that for their sole reason or their sole aggrandizement. So the president feels that by this time, he should have done more than the way he has done with the price of goods coming down, price of petrol, even if you can see from the transportation, drivers are not likely to bring the price down. Even when the thing comes down, they increase the more. That is why I say we are the people killing ourselves. But it's unfortunate that the president is making that statement because he is not supposed to, because we are the people responsible for our problems.
Why do you think he's not supposed to?
Pardon?
Why do you think the president is not supposed to?
Well, he's not supposed to because the advanced stage he has reached in making food prices to come down, and yet some people are still doing the way they are going. Yes, that's it. Because if the people feel that this man is trying in their own side of the price aspect, in their own side of the goods they are selling, they are supposed to come down a little in order to make this thing run with the gari, rice, and all that.
But you understand that there are various sectors.
Are still high. So he feels bad. But the remorse for those things are what he's just using to say that they should forgive him because, when Christ said,
all right, Letambari.
Those who did evil against him, doesn't mean he's sin.
All right, Letambari, thank you. Let's take a commercial. When we come back, we'll take more calls and get more of your opinions. Good morning. What exactly does the president want us to forgive him for? What did he do? Or what has he done? Why is he asking for forgiveness? I was trying to also put out some of the policies under his administration and get us to tell me whether these policies are could be described as a sin, or the sins that maybe the president thinks he's committed that would require forgiveness from Nigerians? Or could he just have made that comment looking at the environment in which he was in? It was a religious setting. The Ramadan just started. The president is a Muslim and he was addressing worshippers. And he had talked about how the Ramadan is a period of deep reflection and moral renewal, which was when he then went on to say, we start this Ramadan with all the teaching that it brings to us all. But the main principle is to do good to people, to share love and faith, and to forgive sins. I say, if I have sinned, forgive me as Nigerians. If I have. So it's not basically saying he has, but if you think that he has sinned, it's saying you should forgive him. So the question now is, do you think that the president has sinned against Nigerians? And if he has, what would that sin be? That's the question. What would that sin be if he has? Because it says, if I have sinned, forgive me. Because that means he doesn't think he has. But if you think that he has sinned, then forgive him. However, what would that sin be? What would that sin be? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. Is there a particular policy you could lay your finger on and say, well, this policy of this government is responsible for what this, that, and that is going through and what's happening to people and individuals in the country? Can you point to one? Could that be what you would describe as, oh, the president has sinned? There are many that question the approach to tackling the problem of insecurity. Is that what you would think the area where the president has sinned? And if that's it for you, would you forgive him? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. Lots of messages coming in on WhatsApp. This one says, good morning. Sorry, is wise man talk until you are in Nigeria. Okay, good morning. This story is a wise man talk until you in Nigeria Info expand and explain those things you mentioned he did, like subsidy removal, increase in allocation, and others. Please educate people and not criticize and crucify the president. George from Odili. Then George from Odili, I don't know if maybe you interpreted whatever was said in how you wanted to interpret it, but the question has remained, what would you consider sin? Those policies that I reeled out on the first half of the show that the president had put in place, for the power sector, for education, for infrastructure, name it. Are those the things that you would look at and say they are sin? And is that what requires Nigerians to forgive the president for? That's the question. So clearly your message suggests that you are interpreting these things differently. Is sorry, and he's already rigging 2027 election. Ike from Eneka. How is he rigging it? He's not the House of Assembly, is he? And the House of Assembly didn't rig the election at all. They amended the Electoral Act with a clause that says if there is network failure, do manual. He should be sorry over this new tax reform because I pay tax and get my tax certificate every year, but I gain nothing in return since I was born. The tax taken from me for January was too much. Now I fear for February tax. So please, let him go. Biko SJ sent in that message. Okay. Douglas in Port Harcourt, let's start with you. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yeah, go on.
The president's usage of the conjunction word if makes it I don't know, individualized. It depends on how you perceive it. some may not think he has offended anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Some may not perceive his policy as harmful. Some may perceive it as harmful. So that's why I use the conjunction word. That is as or when or where I have offended you, it means in some words it's admitting guilt. But the man is not admitting guilt. He just says so in the spirit of Ramadan. You know, it's a Muslim. It's a period of sober reflection. Your heart open. However anybody perceives you, he should pardon you, not your making. However, he's trying his best to make the country better. So if you see it as a harmful policy, please pardon him. It's not that he is admitting that it's wrong. There are several countries which have passed through this stage in the past. They experience similar things. You cannot heal a wound by pampering that wound. You must apply very, very painful antibiotics on it. But there is one thing I want to, clarify here. You also espoused on that same tone. As the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, removed subsidy. Even the president does not say that he removed subsidy, but he is accepting the removal of subsidy because it is their party, it is in their party manifesto. But it is not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who removed subsidy. Subsidy was removed by President, late President Buhari. It was a law, a bill that was passed by Ahmed Lawan, the Senate President, and it was accepted to by Buhari, and it was earmarked or scheduled to recommence on June 2nd of 2023. Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over May 29, few days to the June 2nd, which the subsidy removal should have started. He mainly emphasized or reiterated what was in that budget that year. If you listen to that speech, when people are assuming that that he removed subsidy, he said subsidy is not there in the budget, so subsidy is gone. If you listen, go and listen to that speech again. He said there is no subsidy in the budget, so subsidy is gone because before he assumed office, Buhari did not include subsidy again in that budget 2023. It meant that they have passed the budget because.
So you think if anybody was going to fault the president or accuse the president of any sin against Nigerians, it would be that comment? Is that why you're trying to make the clarification? Because you think that's where people would point at? I said you trying to clarify the subsidy is gone statement. Are you suggesting by chance that if people were to point at one thing that they think is a sin, in quote, that the president might have committed, it would be that subsidy is gone statement?
Yes, that are misrepresenting him, blaming him for that it is a sin. But he didn't commit a sin. It wasn't him. The problem was when he didn't put any palliative on ground to cushion the effect. So this man is accepting that blame, still his party. So cushion the effect by putting these palliatives that you also mentioned now.
All right, Douglas.
CMG trust and all that.
Thank you, Douglas. Let's move on to another caller. Lebari from Bori. Good morning.
Hello. Yeah. Good morning, my.
Good morning,
Lebari. My prayer
brother
in the temple of the press, Ifiemi Andrew.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is High Comrade Kekwe. Our president, I believe he is sorry for the high rate of killing that is going on in the country. If you can recall what happened in Benue, where more than 100 and something persons were massacred in a day. What about in Kwara, Niger, and other parts of the country? And those who are responsible for those killings, nobody has been apprehended or prosecuted up to date that led to the intervention of U.S. military in Nigeria. So I believe that is the area is tendering his apology because he promised to secure, to protect lives and property of Nigerians. So where is the protection? So for me, I believe that is where he is feeling so sorry and asking for apologies from the citizen, because our lives is not being secure. All other policy mentioned by you, where he's trying to mend it for us, and the cabal or the bureaucratic structure of it does not make us the citizens to feel about the policy. We are operating with that as if there's no policy. So, Mr. Ifiemi Andrew, please permit me, because I'm pained at heart over the death of Senator Barry Mpigi. Let me condole with the people of Ogoni, my tribes, the most fastest politician and smart I've ever seen in our region. And Ilokotri has fallen. I felt it. My condolences to the family.
All right, let's go to Rumo Kuta. Thank you. Chima, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Based on the president's comments, to me, I didn't see anything wrong about it. If I would want to really hit on that, I would see that's leadership quality. Because when I was small, when we went to one of our Anglican churches, a reverend father that was about to be transferred out of that our commission, he started apologizing. That was the first time I heard that kind of thinking. So if I have offended you in any means, if this is that, my children, my wife, please forgive me. So then later he started getting old, and now I understand why he was saying that. Because as a leader, you must not please everybody. Your policy might offend some persons. It's a natural thing. That's not how you can carry everybody along. But meanwhile, if you see that you are driving towards success, there are some persons that actually achieve through in success. So to me, what the president has said is something that is unique. To me, I would have even said that he would have even said, I know I might have offended most of you people. I wouldn't even be doing logic about it. Because there is no how many billion people in Nigeria you say you've not offended them by one way or the other. Because even there are some said that things that happen to them doesn't even have to do with you. But for the fact that they believe that everything they depend on, everything they're supposed to have is supposed to be dependent on government, they say you have caused it. You have caused it. So they will hate you for that purpose. So he's just saying this holy time, story, and let us see how we're going to do this whole thing. Let me use the opportunity to say, let me condole with the family of Barry Mpigi and everything. And even if I will be oblivious about what is happening in Rivers State concerning the assembly and the governor.
Chima, that's not the conversation. Let's go over to Frank Nungboba. Thank you, Chima. That's not what we're discussing now. You might have that conversation maybe on the hard facts. If that comes up, then you can contribute on that one there. But for now, we're talking about the president, the policies, and his statement. Frank Nungboba, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. If you hear me?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes. Why is it that people do the wrong thing? Later they start apologizing. We experienced this under Buhari. After wasting 8 years, he said he apologized. Now, virtually 4 years is gone, and this one is apologizing. And people are guessing what is apologizing for, what if he is wrong thing.
Yeah, that's we need to know. So what do you think he is apologizing for?
What I think he has many things he needs to apologize for. One, he stole somebody's mandate. Two, the way he's going about Rivers affairs is not fair. Yeah? Somebody stole Rivers' mandate and gave to him. And his Buhari said he has been compensated for that act. And somebody is saying apologize for what? And the thing is affecting the rulership of Rivers State. And this young man that has come in has not been allowed to work the way his predecessor worked for good 8 years on Nkumbad. Today they are talking peace. The next time they are fast impeaching him. Who does that? Makes the whole scenario to be very mockery. And again, look at killing everywhere. Look at cost of living. Tax everywhere. Even the lighting. Look at food stuff. You cannot travel anywhere on the road. People are kidnapped, organs harvested. And we have a government. The government that doesn't sit back to do his job, he blows trucks, but he doesn't go to US. Who is deceiving who? And he now started something city boys. and he's saying he's apologizing. And these are some boys he picked from Southeastern because he wants to confront Obi if eventually he comes out. Where lies the conscience of this man to be really us? I beg.
All right, JJ and Rumi Bo, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew, good morning.
Yep.
I don't know, but for me, as a person, the president didn't apologize. He only said, if I offend you, and nobody has been able to list out any offense of the president.
The last caller just did.
That he did what?
The last caller just listed some offenses. Among several other callers who have listed the things that they consider a sin.
I didn't hear anything he said about.
You didn't hear the killings he mentioned?
Okay, the killings.
Yes.
It's a normal thing.
Not killings, normal thing?
I didn't say the killing is a normal thing. I said it's a normal thing when you have religious activity like that, especially when it comes to fasting, and they said it's Ramadan, and it's a period of Lent, and the same day was the day they started their Ash Wednesday or something. So it's just a normal talk that forgive and all those. Let's forgive each other. It's just exactly what the president is saying. What else? The Christians are celebrating, Muslims are celebrating. The same day the whole thing started. So as far as I'm concerned, only we will be traditional worshippers. Now we know if they know they give anything to celebrate. But that said, there is nothing much to that. Is he working towards ending the killings? Yes. Is he making sure that things happen positively? Yes. So for me, there's no apology to anybody. That's why even if the caller have said these are the offense, and that's what he apologized for. He said, if I have offended you, then government policies many a times may not be too good for you. Many a times it will favor you. That's why they say when government favor you, you think it's a connection. And that connection at times are corruption. So no hard.
Let's go to Onel guy, Raphael on the line. Raphael, good morning.
Good morning, Ifiemi Andrew.
Yes, good morning, Raphael.
Our president is apologizing because he knows election is by the corner. So he wants to use this antics to deceive us again. He is apologizing because he used 35 billion naira for his aircraft while using 35 million naira for the military aircraft. He is acting as if he is working with a script. They are pushing him, do this, do that, and maybe it is from the cabal. It's the cabal that are telling him, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. And meanwhile, inside his mind, he don't want to do something like that. Let him be serious for once. You are apologizing to me. I am hungry in the country, and you are apologizing to me. Let me continue staying hungry. What kind of rubbish is this one now? Thank you.
All right, Raphael, thank you very much. God's Power from Rumudara, good morning.
Good morning, my brother Andrew.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Andrew, I have God's Power on the line.
All right, go ahead.
Andrew, first I want to correct an impression. There's no cabal in President Tinubu's government. He's in charge of his government. Andrew, the context which the president was speaking, yes, one can say that in the spirit of the Muslim celebration, that he is saying that
hello, God's Power. Okay, God's Power, you may have to call back. However, let me also say, God's Power, you're not from the presidency, so you can't, you have a right to say there might not be a cabal. The presidency would also have to speak. Another person also has a right to say that there is. Okay, so it's every way. Everybody with their opinion about what's happening up there. Only the presidency can put out an official statement to give us a stand on what really the situation is. And then the other guy that said they spent 35 million, I don't think it was an aircraft purchase that was done for 35 million. No, that there isn't. So I don't know where you got that fact from, or that data from. We've been talking about 1.2 billion spent on aircraft. We've gone beyond 1.2 to even 1.8 trillion naira spent on aircrafts. If you want to go from even as of December last year, that conversation was up. So I don't know where you got 32 from, or maybe it's just wasn't the figure you meant to say. They've also spent another time. I think they got some fighter jets, 24 of them, worth about $1.4 billion. So just to clarify that as well, so some people don't move around with the wrong information. The president said if he had committed sin, he should be forgiven. Andrew, the very points the president had committed as sin are enormous, and some sins are after swearing. After swearing in, he promised to protect lives and property. He reneged in that area. Under his watch, citizens of our great country were murdered in Kwara. I think in Kirby just recently, the what's that terrorist group? I can't remember their name again. Not Boko Haram though. There's another one. There's a new one that came out sometime 2 years or so thereabout ago. Who killed some 20-something people in Kirby, amongst many others. Andrew, I've not seen any atom of remorse from the president. This is Pastor Sunday from Rumigbo. You sent that message in. This one says, good morning, Ifiemi. Well, for Mr. President, I'm only waiting for 2027 because he said before 2027 that Nigerians would enjoy 24-hour power supply. And if not, we should not vote for him if he fails to give us that. It is a great sin to humanity because he failed to give us that. Adebo Wale from Ajip. Andrew, good morning. The president apology at this wee hour is Wike's antics of seeking for continuity in politics. Kel, how does this bring the FCT minister? How does it relate? Another person says, Ifiemi, good morning. I don't think it's all right for someone to say the president is talking rubbish. Who said the president is talking rubbish? I don't think somebody said that. However, also if the person listens to what the president says and think it's nonsense to him, then it's nonsense to him. It mustn't make sense to everybody. It makes sense to you, it doesn't make sense to him, and he says, well, what the president says is nonsense to me. Well, that's him. He's remorseful, but that doesn't reflect on his actions and inactions. Example, look at the way he rushed to sign Lecture Act yesterday. It's still the same manner he said subsidy was gone. Same way he acquired costly private residential jets without recourse to the opinion from taxpayers. The manner with which he tours the globe. I can go on and on. Using millions of generational destinies for leadership experiments year in, year out. What about is grab it and run? This is from Good Luck. Andrew, will the apology from the president change anything? Will it change the price of fuel? Will it change insecurity? Skillful Piro is asking that question. This one says, the president must have reconsidered the inadequacies of his economic policies and envisaged him losing 2027 elections, hence this strategy. In reality, asking for forgiveness without rescinding or revisiting the policies to restore the hardship on citizens amounts to propaganda. Victor Adokie, George Will. Did the president says, Nigerians forgive me? He says, if. Well, for those of you saying for those of you interpreting it as an apology, it will simply mean that you think he has sinned, because when you look at it, it says, if I have sinned, forgive me. So it's basically referring to those people that might not be satisfied with what he's doing and asking that those individuals forgive him. Well, we still wait and see what new policies this administration has for us in the coming days as we all prepare for next year's election. It's a Friday. Hello Port Harcourt is next with Jude. Stick around. You're going to have a swell time. I can guarantee you that. Don't forget, on Monday, I beg to differ. A debate continues. So it's heated at the moment, and it's going to be even more interesting. You don't want to miss it. Good morning again.